Hey guys, I am Caleb Giddings from Taurus USA, and today we are reviewing one of our lesser known, but in my opinion, cooler guns, and that is the Taurus TH40, which is part of the TH family of pistols. Now, some of you guys, actually, a lot of you guys don't know about the TH family of pistols because they're not nearly as well known or nearly as popular as our legendary best-selling G3 series, right? Everybody buys the G3, everybody loves the G3. So let's talk about the THs, because in addition to the TH40, we also have the TH9, and we have the TH45, and we have the TH10. With the 45 and the 10 were added this year, but this was the first gun in the TH lineup that I got, and I kind of have a soft spot for it. This particular gun has 1,136 rounds through it. I was in the process of doing a 2,000 round challenge with it, but I got bored because nothing makes this gun stop working, so I just kind of was like, all right, well, I'll go shoot something else. But let's talk about it real quick. So first off, features. So up at the front, let's talk about the sights first, because the sights are the only thing on this gun that I don't like. This particular TH, so the TH40 and the TH9, are from the previous generation of pistols, and they use a unique dovetail cut. So as you can see, that is not a Glock front sight post. This is not a Glock rear sight dovetail. So they use a sight cut that is unique to Taurus pistols, which makes getting aftermarket sights kind of a pain in the butt, which is what I had to do with this front sight. I wanted to replace it with a fiber optic front. So you can get them. They're out there. Novak sells them on the internet. You can go buy them with money, but it's not as easy as replacing the sights on, say, a TH or something like that, because obviously, or it's not as easy as replacing the sights on a G3, because obviously the current generation of G3s and GX4s have Glock aftermarket sights. And as a matter of fact, the new TH45 and TH10 also have the Glock dovetails, again, making it easier to swap out the sights for something that you may like better. The factory sights on this are fine. They are white dots, so there's 2 in the back, 1 in the front. As I always do, filled in the back rear dots, but they still have a little bit of contrast. And that was pretty much it. The only other thing I did was I wrapped the grip in goon tape. I get some questions from time to time about, why do you wrap your grips in goon tape? Don't you want traction from stippling and stuff like that? And how this tape works is because it's an athletic tape. It's basically hockey tape, but it's made by someone who likes the Second Amendment. Is when your hand has any kind of moisture in it, the goon tape sort of activates, and it helps you keep that gun from moving around. So if it's really cold and really dry out, it's not the best option. But in even like the least bit of humidity or rain, it's pretty good. Now let's talk about how the gun itself functions, but first, let's shoot it a little bit. But just... So as you can see, the gun's a shooter. Even in 40, it's not that difficult to shoot, which may be surprising to some people since it is a polymer framed, double action, single action 40 Smith & Wesson. If you don't know what double action, single action means, I will explain it to you. So double action means that pulling the trigger does 2 things. It both cocks the hammer and releases the sear. So, cocking the hammer, releasing the sear. Single action means that pulling the trigger does one thing, releasing the sear. This gun, like many others in the Taurus lineup and many others in the world today, is traditional DASA or TDA or just DASA, which means the first trigger pull is double action. And then when the slide runs, all subsequent trigger pulls are in single action mode. The trigger pull's not bad. It's not as good as my Taurus 92s, but it's heavy, okay? It was designed as a duty pistol, so you have a heavy trigger pull. Even when you run it from the decocked position, it's still a good, according to my finely calibrated trigger finger gauge, that's probably about 10 pounds, maybe more. Hard to tell, but anyway, it's not terrible. If you can't manage a DA trigger, the problem is never the gun, the problem is you learn to shoot better. But this has an interesting feature that most Taurus DASAs have, is that when you run it in single action mode, the decocker is also a safety. So you can run this one cocked and locked and be ready to put in the work. And interestingly, the safety on the TH series is actually way better designed than the safety on the 92 series. So if you look at this safety, it's actually really big and it's really easy to hit with your thumb and to take on and off. So you could pretty conceivably run this gun effectively in single action mode and run it like an SAO. Other things on it, it is not cut for an optics plate yet. Maybe in the future that will be a thing that we do. And then future iterations of the 9 and the 40 will go to the Glock sight model. I don't know, like, reviewing this gun's kind of easy, right? Like, it's a DASA, it costs $300, and this one in 40 cal runs like a tank. I'm sure the 9mm ones run like a tank too. Why did I get a 40 instead of a 9mm? That's a great question, and the answer is because I'm stupid. No, in all seriousness, I really wanted to try to get a gun I could run in limited division, right? Or even limited 10, because I've got my high percentage in limited 10 was like 83%, so I was like this close to getting my M card, and I just thought it would be fun to like go do that with a Taurus. But I think, hindsight being 2020, if there was a Taurus I was going to go try to get my L10 M card with, it would be one of our 1911s, and I do it with 10-round single stack mags, because that's what I got to that 83% with in the first place. So I would try to do it with something like that. But anyway, how does it take down? It takes down like an Glock. You pull back on this and you pull back on the slide, pull down on the takedown lever, and the whole shebang just comes right off. I will say this, it has been quite accurate. After I went through some trials and tribulations trying to find a front sight that works and getting the front sight actually on there, the gun itself has been quite accurate, with one really frustrating exception, is that it shoots, okay, so 40 Smith & Wesson ammo, right? If I feed that thing nothing but standard pressure 180 grain FMJ, it shoots him straight down Broadway. And I mean, just right down the pipe, right? It's great. It's fantastic. Standard pressure 180 grain FMJ is like a 190 power factor. It crushes your wrists and your elbows. It's not super fun to shoot for extended range sessions, and I know because I've shot a lot of it. So I wanted to get this gun to shoot Federal Syntec, the 205 grain action pistol round that I used to use when I was running a GP100 match champion. And it shoots it, like it feeds it and it functions, but it shoots it up here. So if my point of aim is, center of mass or the bullseye or the A zone or whatever, I'm aiming right here on the target, the Syntec rounds will go up here. 180 grain FMJ, straight down Broadway. Syntec, up here in the shoulder. And that wouldn't be a problem, except I have a lot of Syntec. I have a lot of it, and a lot of it is left over from when I was shooting the 10mm GP100 with 40 Smith & Wesson. So I have a ton of this ammo left over that I can't use in matches, because if I need to line it up to take a precise shot, I then have to like Kentucky windage it, and Kentucky windage in matches is never the move. It's never, ever the move. So Yeah, the only thing that's disappointing to me about this gun is that it doesn't shoot Syntech in a straight line. But it's a solid option. Like if you're, again, I like the way I have this one set up. So this wouldn't be legal for limited division right now because in limited division, lights aren't supposed to work. But this one, the lights do work. Obviously, I took a fully loaded mag out of it. This is a 15 round mag. It comes with 15 round magazines. You can also get it with 10 round magazines if you're into, communism or whatever. But again, it's a solid choice. And for like 300 bucks, hard to miss. And again, available in a 9. If I was buying one of these with my own money tomorrow, I would probably skip the 40 and I would probably get the 9. Now, if I wanted to get one with better sights that I could easily upgrade the sights on, I would skip both the 40 and the 9 and I would get the 45. Why would I not get the 10? Because it's a polymer frame 10 mil, man. That is not the most fun gun in the world to shoot if you're picking up what I'm putting down. And I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. But I do have one. I have the TH40, which I have shot a whopping 25 rounds out of because I don't shoot semi-autos that much. That would be a good gun to go get my L10M card with. And then I could shoot CDP, and when you shoot a DASA or anything that's not a 1911 in IDPA CDP division, you make people angry. So that's not a terrible idea, actually. Maybe I'll look into doing that for the rest of the shooting season. But yeah, TH40 is a solid choice. Again, 1,100 rounds on that one. Is 1,100 rounds a lot? Yes and no simultaneously. We think about like in the context as a competition shooter, as a tactical trainer, as an enthusiast. I've already shot almost 9,000 rounds this year, and it's just now April. I shot 10,000 rounds through a single revolver. So 1,000 rounds I know guys who have 30, 40,000 rounds on their competition guns. So in the grand scheme of things, no, in this ecosystem that I live in, 10,000 rounds isn't a lot. In the ecosystem of people who are spending $300 to get a reliable DASA carry gun or home defense gun, 1,100 rounds is a lot. That means that this gun has lasted for an entire case of ammo, which costs probably at least as much as the gun has cost and likely exceeds the lifetime service that most of these THs will go through by at least a factor of 3, right? Like most people will probably get this and put like 300 rounds through it, and that's it. And then they're done, which is great. Good for them. But it's kind of a tank. So, get one, shoot it, and enjoy it. Full disclaimer, I work for Taurus USA, but I actually bought that gun from Bud's Gun Shop online or Grab a Gun or one of the online retailers out there because whenever I do these guns that I'm going to review, I buy them with my own money so that way you nerds can't be like, oh, he just went to the factory and cherry-picked the perfect gun. No, I just buy them on the internet and then I shoot them. And that's it. So the TH series, TH9s, I haven't actually shot a TH9. I've shot the 10, I've shot the 40, I've shot the 45, I've shot the big bore ones, the ones with real calibers, manly calibers, not those European poodle shooters that Jeff Cooper would have hated. So Jeff Cooper would have hated this gun too because it's a DASA and it's a 40. But, well, I can't remember. Did he like 40? No, he called it 40 short and weak. He only liked 10 mil and 45. So maybe Jeff Cooper would have liked the TH45 and the TH10. I don't know. I'm Caleb Giddings. Thanks for watching.